I'm Marilyn Palmer, and welcome to the Dark Side of Data. My guest today is Professor Neil Curtis of Cybersecurity Specialist, and I just wanted to say hello to all of you. Housekeeping rules, there are none. There is no chat. What you can do is you can comment after we post this on the social media platforms that we're going to, and comment or DM Professor Neil and or myself if you have any questions. So without further ado, you know me, I'm Marilyn Palmer Marketing. I've been in the marketing industry for 20 years, and the marketing industry is changing at a rapid pace. Instead of being so product driven, we are looking at being consumer driven now. And today's topic of conversation is how to protect you, your brand, your business, and yourself. Welcome to the platform. Welcome, Professor Neil Curtis, and thank you for your patience because we tried to do this LinkedIn on and it just did not work.
It was fun. It was I had a great time. Didn't you have a great time? I had a ball.
Oh, yeah. So
Okay, well, hi, Marilyn. Thank you for the invite and for our chats. And it's great to sort of, cross the divide through the wonderful internet they have these days. Otherwise, we'd never met in life. I am Professor Neil Curtis. I'm a professor of cybersecurity at one of our universities in Queensland, Australia, by the name of the University of Southern Queensland. I'm a former military veteran from the Australian Army. I'm a former police officer from Victoria Police Force and federal law enforcement and some other law enforcement agencies. And I also have just stepped out of the chief security officer role for DXC Technology, which is a large service integrator. And at the moment, I'm running a little bit like what Marilyn said. I'm running my own business now, teaching military veterans and police veterans how to get into cyber and do all the certifications and get the roles, get capability assessments and all that sort of stuff. So that's what I'm doing right now.
current landscape. I don't know if you saw it, but I did. It was through LinkedIn. About almost 10 billion people affected. They're because
that
Rock You 2024 happening, which is kind of sort of like Rock You 2021. Anyway, so it's happening too many times. And we as marketers, and this is what I believe we should be doing, and this is what this marketer is doing. When you click on some brand and they send you and I'm being facetious here, but a 10-page essay on their privacy policy, and click here, and if you don't agree, then you don't get in. It has to be more transparent. It has to tell them how long their data is for, what it is used for, because a lot of people don't know that some companies actually keep your data for a very long time. Even though you've left, they still keep your data. So how it's used, why it's used. And honestly, it comes down to, that big book called the Bible. You treat people the way you want to be treated. So when somebody gives me their email address, it goes no further than me. It is only used for collection of, oh, great, you subscribed to my newsletter. That's what it's used for. And we've got to start doing that. Your country, every country out there has their privacy rules. And people have to be aware of them when they're going to collect data. And it's just a free-for-all right now. So having said that, what else can we do to protect ourselves and our businesses other than hire somebody like you, which I think people should be doing, is hiring cybersecurity professionals, and not asking the IT department, because the IT department, quite frankly, is good at what they do, and they should be doing what they have to do.
Correct. And IT is not about cyber. And cyber is not about IT. Cyber is about business risk. So we'll have these conversations, we have these arguments in the cyberspace, and people get a little bit upset when you say, well, cybersecurity is not about IT. It's not about the Internet of Things. It's about your business risk as you elevate it up. and you move it up. We use technology to communicate. We use technology to send information, to receive information, but that's an enabler for business. In the old days, we used to use post, right? So there was a security issue on post. It was very small, but we'd still use post. So the landscape's changed, and obviously security professionals like myself have to keep up with that, and it's an ever-changing environment. So there's a few things that, in the context of the small to medium enterprise, without a big security department, and businesses like DXE, for example, running $1 million contracts on cyber, and a very fat budget for you to have all the tool sets and all the teams and so on. There's a few things that really resonate continuously that I'll talk about now, and that's, first of all, and this is for the smaller guy, right? The 1-man team to the 5-man team to the 20-man team, is you need to make sure you manage your passwords. And I know we tap them into the keyboard every single day, and we go, password, whatever that might be, and then 1-2, and then I'm going to change it again, and it's 1-3, and then it's 1-4. We all do that. It's a common practice, but you've got to get out of the password phase, and you've got to get into the passphrase, the smoking gun, the white sheep, the black dog called Max. That sort of passphrase is longer, more complex. Throw your acronyms in it, throw your the keyboard bits and the numbers and the symbols, and mix it up and make it really relevant to the sort of things that you like to do, so you can remember it, but also make it really hard to broaden out, to be hacked. Passwords are hackable, don't get me wrong, and that's why we need a multi-factor authentication. So on your computer, like, when you get into the cloud and you're using, say, Google tool sets and stuff, and whatever you might use, it'll have an option for, they all have an option for multi-factor. It might push to your phone, it might push from a dongle or similar, push it to your phone. Or I do push mine to my phone all the time. It's not bomb proof, it's not hacker proof, but it's a good way of actually managing and maintaining your cyber awareness and your cyber security. One of the other things I'll say is, get yourself a backup. And if you're on the cloud, like most of us on the cloud, we have a drive, it might be OneDrive or Dropbox and those sorts of things. Get yourself the old-fashioned, I might say, the box that plugs into the computer, because that's your best friend when you go down. Your backups that run almost immediately as you do a document on Google Docs, for example, saves onto the cloud. But if you're every day doing a backup in the morning or in the afternoon, and you do that backup onto that hard drive, you can take that hard drive out. Don't leave it connected. Connect it, back up, take it out. Put it in your safe or put it in your drawer. And then when it goes pear-shaped, you've got that physical backup. You can go and buy another computer, okay? We don't have to buy new systems and hardware, multiple servers and 1,000 computers for our business. We're not a big business. We can go out and buy another Mac. We can go buy another laptop. We can go buy another screen. We can go buy another printer. So we're not most likely going to do that, because getting into your computer that's been hacked and impregnated with worms and viruses and those sorts of things is cost ineffective for us as a small business. It's easy for us to go and spend $1,000 on a new Mac and then put our backup in our standalone and then bed it up to speed. You can always go to your
backup thing. I love this little thing, backup. That is amazing. Thank you. Go on. Sorry.
Yeah, because you can take it with you in your bag, your purse when you're on holidays. You've always got your data with you, right, if you need to. Because you may not get, part of the breach may be it cuts you out from the internet. Like if I ransomware you, I'm cutting your complete system off. So you can't get to your net. So I'm changing all your passwords to your drives. I'm actually hacking your drives. If I come in at 2:00 in the morning, your computer's still hooked up, and I've come in through the back door, I'm going to go to your drives. That's where I'm going to start first. I'm going to work from the drives, from the cloud out, back into your computer. So have that hard drive with you, $100, gold, absolutely
That's gold,
gold.
isn't it? Yeah. Also,
yeah.
Okay. So backup, back it up, people. 2-step verification, change your passwords. I'm changing them all mine today. And I have Safari, and Safari says, okay, we're going into, let's say, Zoom. Okay. And here's your password, reset it. Yeah. And they come up with this gobbledygook that I would never remember, but I use their suggestions now. I don't use, because I have 20 passwords and I'm like, I can't remember. So That's the other thing. Let's talk. We've talked about being transparent and how long it's stored. And the Canadian Marketing Association has top 10 privacy principles. They're really actually quite simple. And again, it's be aware of transparency, accountability, individual access, consent, big time consent, limit the use, and safeguards, to name just a few of the top 10. I won't go into it because, I'm in Canada, you're not. And, we have different, same but different. Okay. There's top 5 things to secure your information. You talked about backing it up. You talked about two-step verification. What other security measures need to be considered when giving out your personal information? And this is business related. We all know the scary stuff about extortion that's going on right now, and the big black dark web that's going on continuously. Do you have 3 other things that you can talk about in order to secure your information?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's not only backup. So one of the things I want you to consider is turn your computer off. Like when you walk away from the computer, most of us leave it on overnight. It's connected to the internet. So we walk away, it turns itself off, we go to bed or we leave the office or whatever. Turn it off. Cut the connection.
That
That's
is
one of the
so
biggest
simple.
cleans. It's so simple, right? Just turn it off. It'll do it when it reboots, it'll go through its system, it'll pick up the updates, but turn it off. Speaking of updates, when you get onto your phone and you have an update alert to update your OS on your computer, for example, as well, find your updates, update at every point. If you go on every week and not looking for an update, go into your system, find an update. If it's updated, great. If it's not, update it then. Don't wait for after work when it says, oh, we'll do it at night time. Do it then, because the breach may be coming in 2 minutes. So do it then. So
Whoa.
you don't know. You don't know. And you don't know if anybody's in your system, that update might close that vulnerability. So if you like, it's housekeeping space as well. I think one of the big things that we see a lot of, I mean, ransomware's been around for a long time, right? And ransomware seems to be the one that everybody looks at, but your details in terms of your PCI compliance. So a lot of us will use a credit card or use a credit card service. So if you have a credit card where you're selling material, for example, or goods and services, and people are swiping your card, make sure you understand what your PCI DSS standards in your country, which I think they're all general globally anyway, but make sure you're abiding by that. You're not allowed to write down card numbers. You're not allowed to keep people's card numbers and that sort of thing. And an example, I was in a very large business that was sending $50 million in credit card content, i.e. my name, Neil Curtis, my credit card number, my CVV number, and my expiry, and the amount that my credit card was valued at, i.e. what I had my credit card at $10,000, for example. That was being sent in clear text on an Excel spreadsheet to a service provider every 2 weeks in that company. That is a clear breach of DSS or PCI. And anybody who had intercepted that information can take that information and go spend credit card money. And you can't do anything about it because you've already breached, so you can't recover the cash, right? Your 50 million's gone. And I think one of the other things I'd like to say about some easy things to do is when you're going out to market and you're collecting details and people's information and that sort of thing, like as we do, what's your name, what's your email, that sort of stuff. Keep it on your system. Don't write it down. Don't sit it in your Remarkable that I've got here or in my phone. If it's business information, keep it on your business system. Don't put it onto your private device. Because the loosest thing we have and the worst thing we have is one of these suckers, an iPhone, for example. This is a dangerous piece of kit. This is the worst thing you could possibly have for your security. It's not a secure device. Everybody's details is on it. All your contact details are on it. I guarantee you'll have a password on it somewhere. You'll have a photo of your driver's license or your mum's birth certificate or your degree or something like that that you've scanned and that you haven't cleaned off. Get rid of that data. If you don't need it for business, then get rid of it. If you've got personal photos and you want to keep that private, you've got all that back end stuff behind you that tells you where you were, where where you were when you did that photo or took that photo. That information's all of value, right? That's all of value to the hackers. I've got teams that work for me that actually, that's how we get you, because we go into your system and we find out who you are, and we do that social engineering around who, what, where, who you are as a person, what your interests are. And we do all sorts of fake things. We will build fake Facebook accounts and we'll do DNS dumping and go and look at, different profiles. And if your web page is not HTTPS, if it hasn't got the S secure on it, do not touch that web page. Walk away from it, close it down. In the old days, we would walk away, right? These days, we're kind of wedded to this sort of technology. We won't walk away from it. You have to walk away from it. If your computer's compromised, throw it in the bin, go and get another one. That's the only thing you can really do that's going to save your bacon, in terms of grab that backup that we spoke about, plug in your computer, get back up and running.
We are required in Canada, I'm sure you are too, to notify the Privacy Commissioner as well as any affected individuals in circumstances where personal information has been lost or stolen and individuals have been put at risk. Organizations must keep records of all breaches. What happens next? Just tell everybody, sorry, you've been breached. Okay, bye-bye now. Okay, change your password.
Well, the biggest thing is comms, right?
Pardon?
Yeah, the biggest things is if you've got a community, or you've got like your stakeholders and your customers, right? Talk to them. Comms is your first point of call. What you need to make sure you've got, there's a few things I want you to make sure that you have. Build yourself a security incident or cybersecurity incident plan. You can get them online. If you can't find one, DM me. I'll build you one for you and send it over specifically for your business. Easy peasy. It goes through if this, then that. So it's a book. I'm going, I think something's happened. What do I do? If you can identify, then you can follow the bouncing ball. And it's the same across the whole spectrum. It's the same in law enforcement. You go to a car accident, it's the same process, cordon and contain, deal with the injured, etc., etc. You want to do the same process in your business with your incident plan, and know that incident plan. If you've got staff, give that incident plan. Big tip, print it out. Because you can't access it when you haven't got a computer, right? If it's on your computer, print it out, put it in again in your safe. So when you go, oh, something's gone wrong, I can't get on a piece, I think I've been breached, you can pick that booklet up and go, right, okay, there's the phone number I need to ring for my service provider. And you can have all that in that incident plan, but have it in print. It's like a business continuity or disaster management plan. Don't have it just sitting on your server, because you can't access your server. They've already cut you out.
It's breached.
Much like it. Yeah, you're breached, right? The other thing with being breached and dealing with that is don't buggerize around with your computer. Like, don't play with it. Don't try to do things, because you're only going to get yourself in worse. Like, close it down, take it to a specialist, say, listen, I think I've been breached. And they'll go through it, and they'll soon find out. There's a lot of hardware and software tools that can go into your computer and immediately tell you. And there's other things you can do in terms of, making sure that you recover is the quickest thing. So that business continuity, you still want to do business. Okay, I have to go and buy a new computer, but you have to tell people, right? So you look at these big companies, that the big breach companies, and one of the things they do or don't do, and this is what you should do, is they don't have generally a comms plan. They'll put one together on the day, don't mind you that. But what I mean by a comms plan is, if you've got many clients that you're dealing with daily, and they're ringing up your staff or your call center, if it's a small call, also you might have outsourced that to another agency or overseas, for example. If you're going to do that, you've got to understand that if you go down, everybody's going to call you. Your phones are going to run hot. That's going to crash. So if that's the case, you need to have your contingency planning all built up, so you can post out. You can share that email, because you've done your backup on your computer again. You can go back to market and you can say, look, this is what's happened, and communicate. Please email me. I'll run a webinar about the breach. We'll get all our customers in. We'll talk to them about what's happened. or given the comms, because at the end of the day, if you have gone down as a victim of your business, for example, if I was one of your customers, I'd need to know, because I need to change my security then. So it's compounding effort. You go down, or your customers may go down. So you want to contact them and say, hey, this is what's happened to me. Can you please take some action? And hey, here's some advice. Here's a spreadsheet, or here's a copy of our plan. I'm going to share it with you as good courtesy. I mean, be a good citizen.
Not Steve Jobs. Sorry, wasn't Steve Jobs. Apple said in many years ago, 2020, I believe, that everybody has the right to privacy. And they stopped their cookies. Google is apparently going to stop it in Q3 of this year for 100% of the users. So in a cookieless world, brands, businesses, marketers are looking at other options. One option is a digital ID. And before we talk about this, know this, people that are watching this, that digital IDs have not been adopted by all countries, Canada being one of them. The use and the users vary within specific countries. A digital ID is with the consumer's permission, and based on their preferences, they have an ID that's tagged with different elements of consumers' online and offline behavior. Enriching the ID profile and cleansing it. Do you think this is a good idea?
No.
Thank you.
Sorry, no. I don't like it. And I tell you why I don't like it. It's the same reason I don't like them using your biometrics. When they say to you, hey, you can, like our tax agency over here, every time you talk to your tax agency over here, like the ATO it's called, they said, oh, you can do a digital print. Well, I can go online now and I can build out of Canva, for example, a video, and I can put your voice to that video. And I can't audibly hear the difference. I can put my kid's voice to it. You can change the voices to. I was just watching a very brief podcast from Joe Rogan. His voice sits on an ad for a firelighter right now on Instagram. So you can attach that voice. That's a biometric. It's designed to sound and behave like that. So the AI space is breaching all that biometric space, but we knew that, right? So don't use your face, for example, as your last bastion, because when you do breach, what are you going to go and change your face? Don't use any digital ID mechanism, because that's a tracking device. That's all we use it for, right? We track you on your behavior. Like, how do you think law enforcement operates? National security, we're tracking you on your behavior. We know what you're doing.
Big Daddy is watching.
Always watching. I was one of those big daddy guys, right? I was watching. I know how they operate. I've got to tell you stories about that. But fundamentally, you need to protect yourself. Use baseline stuff. Like, don't run out there when new technology comes out and go, oh, I'm going to be the first one to do it. Look at me, how good I am. Look how stupid you are. Because a lot of this stuff is test. And Apple makes a phone, puts out a new phone. Law enforcement gets the breach codes to those phones before that phone's put out. Like, we already know how to get the back end of it, because Apple's provided law enforcement with that capability and that access. So it's not hard. Like, no technology is completely bomb-proof. So dumb it down. Bring it back to what's really simple with your protection, passwords, your materials. Like, you hold on to your passport that should be sitting in your cupboard, or you hold on to, those sorts of bits and pieces. You can walk into a bank or to an agency and present that, right? Now, unless you've got that copied online, that's hard to duplicate. The information you might get off the web, like your date of birth and place of birth, things like that. But that document's very difficult if you've got hold of it, and it's not duplicated anywhere else. But your face, you wear that every day. Your iris, you wear every day. Your palm. We do stuff on palm veins and all that sort of stuff. We can tell you, ID you on that sort of thing. There's all sorts of things, biometrics we can do. We can do it on your gait. We can do it on your predictive actions. There's a heap of technology in that space, which is readily available. So yeah, just be careful of it. Just be very mindful, dumb it down to basics. And the other thing I'll say is check with those locations like your bank. If you're concerned about being breached, like being duplicated and somebody else has taken a housing loan out in your name, then speak to your bank. Like update your bank go and check your bank every, 2 or 3 weeks online. So, okay, look at my accounts and have a track of, be responsible for your own behavior. Yeah, I mean, we always count our dollars, right? But do you look at your account in depth? And I'm lucky, my wife's a forensic accountant. She's nuts on this stuff. So she looks at everything I spend. I don't spend a dime without being tracked by her. Why have we spent on this? And that's great for me because I feel comfortable that she's actually watching our account space. So yeah, that's a bit of a comfort, I suppose.
I would like to continue this conversation because you have a lot of information that, it's simple, but, or common sense, but how common is common sense right now? Okay, our common courtesy, right? So I'd like to, not like tomorrow, but maybe next month, okay, come back and revisit, okay?
Sure.
Please give out your email address. Or we can contact you through DM if that's what you want to do.
DM's great. And I'll give you my email address on the DM, right?
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Easy, right?
That's
Because then you'll
great.
have it and it's within a secure system and that's okay. I'm not really worried about emails. Email is the biggest breach sector. So for me, I watch all my emails. And if I'm a bit bodgy and I don't answer you, it's probably because I'm a bit sus on your email. So if you
What
put
I'll do,
the other thing is when you send me your details, send me your phone numbers, send me your signature so I can check your signature. Make sure you check people's signatures and check their links. So hover over the links and all those little tricks that we do in security, and then call someone, like call the person or send them an email to verify and just ask, and just verifying if this is really you. I got an email the other day. I think it was from one of the systems I use, and I was a bit bodgy on that. And I think it was actually from LinkedIn. It was from LinkedIn, actually. And I replied back to the email. I went, oh, no, I had to go through and find an email to email LinkedIn. And I went back, took a snapshot and said, is this real email from you, LinkedIn? And it came back saying yes. I went, okay, all right. They've checked it. I'm fine. I'm happy with that. And I opened it. And it wasn't anything dramatic or anything. It was just another link to another piece of software. But fundamentally, I was like, I don't get a lot of emails from LinkedIn. Why am I getting this email from LinkedIn? I don't trust it. I've just sent an email. That's all I've done. Tip of the day.
I will ask everyone then that is watching this to DM you, because I'm going to, have your at Professor Neil Curtis, so they can click on that link and get on to you that way. Also, I would recommend that anybody watching this would be following this gentleman. Okay. It was a pleasure. It's always a pleasure talking to you.
Always a pleasure. It's great
In
fun, isn't it?
space. Look at you in space. I got to get one of those back. And if they have any questions, it's going to end in 10 minutes, but we're going to end it anyway because I have to throw this up onto LinkedIn. Thank you very, very much for your time today. And thank you for your patience.
My pleasure. Oh, my pleasure. Easy. It's good fun. And look, if you need any help, just reach out. Like just, reach out and touch someone. Make a call. Because at the end of the day, I'm only a phone call away or an email away. So if you have any problems, I'm more than happy to lean in and give you advice and say, hey, if it's too big for me from where I am, then I'll put you on to someone who can help you.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just a conversation, right? So happy days.
All right. Thank you very much. Have a great week.
No worries.
Take
Thanks.
care. Bye-bye.
It's our weekend soon. So
yeah, right.
we're a day ahead of you.
Yeah, you're a day ahead.
Yeah.
Who knew? Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
No worries. Talk soon. See ya. Bye.